I had a brownout. I don't know what happened there. So that stream got cut. All right. So let's run through this real quick. Bitcoin not doing too well. Altcoins suffering even more. Really sucks. Bitcoin 103. Yeah, brownout. I'm not sure, Sam Fisher. Just straight power outage. But the storm's been crazy. Bitcoin not doing too good. Down 6% over the week from its high to its low. Unfortunately, we might not see any relief anytime soon. With the current economic tensions, tariffs, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Economic conditions, war in Middle East, whatever. Bitcoin strongly correlated to the NASDAQ or the traditional tech stocks, yada, yada, yada. No relief. DJT administration probably not getting the way that they want with controlling the economy, dropping the treasury yields, and so on and so forth. People don't trust that the inflation is under control, and the approval rating is unfortunately plummeting. Yada, yada, yada. All right. Back of the speed, Bitcoin hyper pre-sale heats up ahead of Fed rate cut. Well, people are saying the next milestone is 120K after the Fed rate cut. The next meeting isn't until the 30th. Maybe there might be a rate cut. We don't know. But that's the biggest thing. Like when there's a rate cut or some resemblance of, hey, we know what the fuck we're doing from a leadership standpoint, then we might see not only Bitcoin, but altcoin season start to come into fruition. We'll see. But yeah, brownout ruined everything. So I'm just gonna bullshit, read some news to you, and then call it a day because I got shit to do. This article is saying Trump posted on Truth Social, I don't know why the board doesn't override Powell. Branding Powell is a moron, heavily criticized Fed policy. He claims it is costing U.S. $1 trillion per year in interest payments. Maybe, just maybe, I'll have to change my mind about firing him, but regardless, his terms end shortly. U.S. debt skyrocketing in recent years, yada, 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 blah, 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 yada, yada. Nobody's getting their way. People want to blame each other. Nobody's taking accountability. Same shit, different day. It doesn't matter. The Fed doesn't cut, price no go up. Unless something drastic happens for overall market. But the Nakamoto Holdings secure $51.5 million to expand Bitcoin treasury strategy. Again, this is just more news, right? About various entities adding Bitcoin to their portfolio, whether it's central banks, major institutions, whatever it is. But Bitcoin holdings company called Nakamoto Holdings, founded by DJT's crypto advisor David Bailey, has secured $51.5 million in fresh capital through a private placement and public equity, or called PIPE deal, according to the statement from the merger partner Kindly MD. Bailey said that the new funds were raised in less than 72 hours, reflecting a growing investor appetite for Nakamoto Bitcoin accumulation strategy. Investors' demand for Nakamoto is incredibly strong. We continue to execute our strategy to raise as much capital as possible to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. The financing, price around $5 per share, brings Kindly MD's total funding to approximately $563 million and $763 million, including convertible notes. Nakamoto approach mirrors the playbook used by corporate entities aiming to leverage Bitcoin as a reserve. The company was launched earlier this year with the explicit goal of building a sizable Bitcoin treasury, even as broader market sentiment remains mixed. Proceeds from the latest round will be used primarily for Bitcoin purchases, along with working with capital and general corporate needs. The PIPE financing is set to close alongside the anticipated merger with Kindly MD, which trades under the ticker NACA on the NASDAQ. So you could trade this if you really wanted to. But yeah, just another company that has accumulated funds. And yeah. Hello. How are you? HHE Few BDD09. So what is this? A massive surge in Bitcoin knots nodes hints a brewing civil war in Bitcoin. Bitcoin knots, first released by developer Luke in the early 2010s, have long offered a more configurable and policy agnostic alternative to Core. Currently, most nodes use Bitcoin Core client to support the Bitcoin network. However, Bitcoin knots has grown an impressive 638% since the start of the year, jumping from only 394 nodes to almost 3,000 as of June 19th. The massive growth rate started to see significant uptick in May and now makes up 13.24% of all nodes supporting the Bitcoin blockchain. Bitcoin knots recently popularity spike suggests that the non-trivial share of Bitcoin's infrastructure operators no longer trust Core to define Bitcoin's limits unilaterally. This is not just technical dissonance, it's ideologically. The last time nodes count shifted this dramatically in 2017 on the eve of SegWit 2x showdown. Back then, disagreements over the block size and miner power fractured the network into Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Now another schism may be forming, and instead of block sizes is about the soul of the protocol and its dramatically impact price stability and adoption by the year's end. This is something to just keep an eye on. I don't think so. I don't know if we have another, like, how many Bitcoins are there? Like, how many Bitcoin labeled tokens are there? Let's see here. Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Purple, Bitcoin Atom, Bitcoin Silver, Fractal Bitcoin, Bitcoin Oil, Bitcoin Classic, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Z, Bitcoin Candy, 0, like X, OX Bitcoin, BN Bitcoin, Optical Bitcoin, Bitcoin Mono, Micro Bitcoin, like, do we really care? I mean, I care about the chain split, but I don't know. You let me know your thoughts in the comments. They're saying that Bitcoin knots began as a power user fork of Core, integrating patches, features, and policy and tweaks were too controversial, too early for the mainline adoption. It hovered between 50 and 200 active nodes for most of its existence, serving as a staging ground for conservative developers wary of Core's influence. On March 2016 through early 2022, nodes count barely reached 200, but now we have a surge. Then came late 2024 as murmurs of opt return cleanup in Core began to circulate, couched in a language about pruning, Fed efficiency and mempool hygiene. Knots adoption began to climb. By early 2025, it's tripled, and now we're around 3,000. The message behind the numbers is evident. A meaningful subset of Bitcoin's most technical participants rejects Core moral authority. Where it once assumed that Bitcoin Core spoke for Bitcoin itself, there is a growing appetite for pluralism, as perhaps even open defiance. We shall see. Interesting. Retro Mike, have you been looking into this? If Bitcoin were to split, I don't think it will, but if it were, yeah. I mean, it basically, I mean, Bitcoin Cash has been doing good lately, right? If you look at it, let's go look at it on CoinMarketCap. If you look, here we go again. See? CoinMarketCap, you need to get your shit in order. But you can see, like, compared to the chart of Bitcoin over 7 days, Bitcoin Cash has been making a little bit of gains. It's still nowhere near the OG Bitcoin, but you know, when the split happened, you know, everybody favored Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, over Bitcoin Cash or any other fork of Bitcoin, as we can clearly see today from all the damn names that we have. I don't think it will happen, but it's definitely something that we want to just keep an eye on. Oops, sorry, that's very loud in your ear. Hang on, let me turn that down. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. Something to keep an eye on. I don't think it's anything to become fearful of. I just something that you, the end user, supporter, lover of Bitcoin. If you do love Bitcoin, maybe you don't like Bitcoin. Maybe you just love altcoins and you don't give a shit about Bitcoin. Okay. Still something that I would say you want to keep an eye on. Okay. Norway plans to temporarily ban new Bitcoin and crypto mining centers to conserve energy. I don't hate this, right? I don't hate this because as newer developments build up, you know, basically, is the power there? Is the infrastructure there to support new data centers, new facilities? And I think some of these countries, the answer is no. So I don't hate this. Like, hey, let's pause. I know you got buku money and you're a billionaire and you just want to fucking like open up a new facility and start mining Bitcoin as soon as possible. I understand that. Great. I'm happy for you. But like, if there's no infrastructure there and you're just going to put the energy grid at risk and the civilian population at risk, then wait or go to a place that does have the power, or maybe build you know, try to work with the country, the power suppliers, and build a new ESG mix mining facility, right? Where you're operating a little bit off of coal or fossil fuels, solar. Maybe you got a solar farm off to the left and right, or you know, maybe there's methane gas already leaching into the atmosphere that's not getting flared that you could tap into and use that to provide power, whatever. But yeah. Norway announced that it plans to introduce a temporary ban on establishing new Bitcoin and crypto mining data centers. So what's there now is there, and they're going to hold off. The Labour Party government has a clear intention to limit the mining of cryptocurrency in Norway as much as possible, said the minister. The ruling Labour Party has attributed the upcoming ban to excessive electricity consumption by power-intensive Bitcoin and crypto mining operations. Crypto mining is very power intensive and generates little in the way of jobs and income for local community. It generates jobs at first, but then it doesn't, right? Once you have your mining operations up and running, it's kind of like you only need a handful of people. Not a handful. You only need a few people or less people to maintain it. Yeah, you're going to have that 10% rotation of machines that constantly need to be maintained, cleaned up, fixed. Maybe there might be outages, a bad hash board, bad control board, whatever, but you have a small collection of team members that sit there and maintain, you know, take down these machines, get them ready, get them cleaned up, get them, make sure everything is working and decent and in order, get it back in line, next 10%, so on and so forth. But the amount of people you need during the initial setup process versus the maintenance or maintaining operations is a lot lower, so the jobs will go away. But I've seen people travel for jobs, so I don't know. Anyways, on screen, pro-Israel hacker destroys hackers, more than one. 90 million in Iran crypto exchange breach. I never used this exchange. I forgot the name of it already. Blah 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 blah. Nobitex, Nobitex. It is one of their largest exchanges. Was hacked for more than 90 million on Wednesday, according to blockchain analytics firm Elliptic. The funds were drained from the platform wallets into addresses bearing anti-government messages, explicitly referencing. Moving on. Blockchain research firm Chainalysis said that the stolen crypto included Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, Ripple, Solana, Tron, and Ton. The group called Predatory Sparrow claimed responsibility for the attack and said it released the exchange's source code. They also claimed credit for a separate cyber attack on Iran's state-owned bank, SEPA, this week. On Friday, the countries have continued to trade ammunition towards each other. And the leader of Iran threatened the U.S. with irreparable damage in response to DJT's demand that the country surrender. Let's focus on crypto. Though the stolen assets have not been conclusively attributed to the group, both Chainalysis and Elliptic funds were sent to the burner wallets, cryptographic addresses that hackers likely can't access, strongly suggesting that money was intentionally destroyed, not stolen for profit. Sometimes hackers do that. Sometimes it ain't about the money. The motive for stealing that $90 million in funds is for other than financial gain. Head of financial security, blah, blah, blah. Burner accounts. Add that the kind of symbolic, destructive attacks show how crypto infrastructure is becoming a new front in modern geopolitical conflicts. Technology as a whole, infrastructure plans, hydro stations, railways, automotive, bridges, whatever. All of that's up for grabs. When there's two countries battling it out, that's the new wave, not wave, but like arena of warfare. And we knew that was coming. We knew that's becoming very popular. I mean, look at the Ukrainian-Russian situation, right? It's completely different type of warfare. Past investigations have connected the platform to sanctioned IRGC-linked ransomware operatives and individuals close to, I guess, the Iranian personnel. They're saying that this exchange showed wallets connections with Hamas, Jihad, and the Houthis. So, but like, how do you prove that? Like, you say it has a connection, but like, how do you say, hey, this address belongs to this rebel, this terrorist organization, this individual? Like, how do you prove that? I'd be interested to see the sites or the sources that they're saying is the reason why they had. And again, they weren't doing it for money. And I wonder, is Predatory Sparrow, are you guys state sponsored? I know you guys wouldn't tell me, but are you guys state sponsored? And when I say you guys, I mean men and women. I love you all. It doesn't matter which country you're from. Nothing but respect and love. I'm sorry everybody's going through this. Whatever. Are you guys state sponsored like Lazarus in North Korea? Or are you guys individual? Because I kind of feel like an individual would be like, not individual, but like a non-state sponsored hacking group would have taken some profits and then burned the rest just to be like a ha-ha. Whereas a state sponsored would be like, burn it all. As long as they can't access it, I don't care. I don't know. We'll see. Solana XRP and Dogecoin ETF approval in 2025 are near lock, analysts say. Which cool. Again, by the time they're approved, let's say they're approved in Q3 of 2025, the tail end of Q3 2025, the effects of it probably won't be realized into maybe mid Q4 2025 or early Q1 2026. So keep an eye on this. It would be great, for your various bags if you have Dogecoin, Solana, XRP, or whatever else. I don't see why there would be, Litecoin I agree with, Cardano I agree with, Polkadot not so much, Avalanche maybe, Pepe don't care, a number of others I don't care, but let's just stick with the top currencies that's been around for years and have some remnants of stability, not some meme coin because we want to do it. Like Doge is supposedly a meme coin, but this thing has been rock solid for years. So Dogecoin, I understand. All the other meme coins, I really could care less. But basically, top Wall Street analysts and various personnel are saying that Solana, XRP, and Litecoin spot ETFs are near lock at 95% odds of approval from the U.S. SEC by the end of 2025. Dogecoin, Cardano, Polkadot, Hedera, and Avalanche spot ETFs application also sitting quite pretty, according to analysts, with 90% chance of approval by year's end. If the above altcoin ETF applications receive the SEC green light in the coming months, then the development would be a substantial milestone in the history of Wall Street. Thus far, the agency have approved only two categories, which is, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then we got this chart again, which you'll see to the left of me. If I move out of the way, you'll see the approval odds in blue. Most of them are 90% or above And the top one is basket indexes. So would that be a basket of cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Doge, Bitcoin, whatever? You see Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Doge. Basically, XRP up is 95%. You know, Doge, Cardano, and all the rest are pretty much 90%. Everything except for Tron and Sue, right? Sue's at 60%, Tron's at 0%, I think. So we'll see how things pan out. But I mean, that would be a nice little bump to your bags if you are hanging on to any of those assets. Again, I think it's primarily going to be the most notable coins, right? Your Bitcoin, your Ethereums, your Solanas, your XRPs, your Dogecoins, your Litecoins, stuff like that. Not the others, but hey, we'll see. Yeah, they're talking about Polkadot. It's inevitable. Multi-asset ETFs of digital assets and tokens. Yeah. Tokenization is underway, and once all assets are tokenized, there will be thousands of ETFs. And that's true. All right, we're seeing tokenization of various assets, whether that be real estate, art, whatever it might be. Again, still waiting for the idea that Savage Mind and myself came up with, where, you know, kind of like a Carfax is tokenized for your vehicle. You sell your vehicle and then you provide that token or asset to the new owner, and boom, they got everything, all the data and everything via IPFS or whatever on the blockchain. They can see the, you know, all the oil changes, all mods, all whatever, tires, whatever, just data dump, IPFS or whatever on the asset, and the person of the owner of the vehicle could monitor that. Still waiting for that to happen. We did our test on Ravencoin, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Which, by the way, I do got an update for you. Is Red Panda not going live today? Anybody know if Red Panda's not going live today? No, not that kind of Red Panda. Got the word mining. Might not be going live today. Okay. If they do, let me know. Because I'm just gonna wrap up in about what, we got 20 and 18 minutes. Real Vision predicts Bitcoin blast off altcoins to erupt shortly. So another article similar to one that we saw earlier, where they're expecting Bitcoin and altcoins to pop off. Some are calling for, like, so Raoul Pal, which I fucking love, as one of the crypto entrepreneurs, and James Coates described a potential violent upside move across Bitcoin and crypto markets. And remember, like, Bitcoin can do something that nobody's expecting it to do. It's very much possible. So they state here that we're not overheated, we are not stretched. In fact, everything is behaving exactly as it should in the breakout regime, says Coates, referring to the Global Liquidity Risk Score, a framework built for central bank balance sheets, money supply, aggregates, FX reserves, and U.S. net liquidity. And when these breakouts happen, Bitcoin sensitivity to liquidity can increase by a factor of 5 or more. Powell echoed the conviction, added, "From my work, it's straight up from here. I think we'll be surprised to the upside, especially by how fast stuff runs." Right? So you're not expecting it, and all of a sudden, boom. Right? Now it's on everywhere, X, all the crypto tubers are coming out and saying this and saying, I told you so. Nobody fucking cares. It will happen quick. Right now, it's kind of like, you know, everybody's poking Bitcoin with a stick, like, do something, and it's not doing something. But when it does something, it's going to hopefully blow your socks off, hopefully. But all I could say is, like, me personally, I'm just mining Bitcoin with my machines that are not efficient, so I'm paying for it in electricity, unfortunately, especially at my electric rates. Trying to stack as much as I can, dollar cost average, and auto trading / manual trading. So just trying to slowly accumulate, because I don't have a lot of money, right? We're talking like $10 every 2 weeks, $20 every 2 weeks, just small nibbles of money, because most of my finances got to go to bills and taking care of the household. But just that small accumulation, bit by bit. All right, obviously, you know, some of us work 9 to 5 and might have a 401k, right? Some of those 401ks are adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet, and you're gaining more exposure that way as well. Just little nibbles here and there. If you can afford bigger chunks, do bigger chunks. But, you know, don't bet the farm and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like right now, if somebody were to ask me, should I get into Bitcoin? My answer would be absolutely yes. But if you're just like, oh, I'm going to put all my money in Bitcoin because I'm hoping I become a millionaire by next month. That's not going to happen, guys. You need to be looking at a long-term strategy, not a short-term strategy, right? And that's why during alt season, these meme coins gain a lot of popularity is because people are like, oh, well, if I go into Bitcoin, I will only get so much. And if it does grow by, 5x, I only get so much. But if this meme coin grows by 5x, I get millions of dollars versus maybe hundreds or thousands, and they don't want to do it. But the stability and the long-term growth to me is more attractive than the short-term gains. Yes, there are some coins out there that you can make some serious long short-term gains and be happy, and a lot of people have the ability to do that, watch the charts 24/7, make some plays that wind up winning. But not everybody, not every average Joe, blue collar, regular person can. So your best bet is small chunks here and there, right? Accumulate, stack up, whatever you can. One metric that the liquidity multiplier Coates explained is the typical macro regimes. Bitcoin rises roughly 7% for every 1% increase in global liquidity. But the rare post-contraction periods like now, that multiplier jumps as high as 20 to 30%. Bitcoin becomes hypersensitive to liquidity. Every new dollar of liquidity sloshes into the system has an outsized impact. Importantly, the data confirms that recent rally off April lows is supported by fundamentals. Liquidity broke out in early April, and since the Bitcoin's up 40%, global liquidity is up too. That's consistent with a prior breakout regime, says Coates. People don't realize how clean this setup is, right? Like, just zoom out. It's looking attractive. We're getting, again, the same thing for the past few weeks. Centralized entities are accumulating Bitcoin. They see value in it. We're getting good news after good news after good news. New fund does this. New firm does that. Whatever. All the indicators are looking spicy. The price is just not there yet. And everybody wants the price there right now. They have no patience. But if you have patience and you've been hanging on to your bag for X years, whatever, you might be rewarded if you can hang tight. Alt season is tightly linked to disposable income and ISM. Once earnings pick up and Fed starts cutting, people will move out the risk curve, and that's what ignites full rotation. So again, the next meeting is July, at the end of July, right? Possible rate cut. That's what we need to hope for, pray for, believe for, whatever you do. It doesn't matter. If Jerome Powell and the Fed, if we can get things a little bit more stable, make some more deals, I think we just had a deal with I forgot which country. Which one did DJT drop the paper on when he opened it up? Was it the UK or was it somebody from the EU? I think it was the UK. But if we could get more deals ironed out, right, win some more countries over, get a mutually beneficial deal for both sides of the pond, get China. Dude, China, if we could get China and DJT to just chill the fuck out and align in a better way, that would be huge. And a rate cut in July would be huge. That could be a huge catalyst. Will we get that rate cut in July? I don't know. What is it? What is this stupid chart? Probability of rate cut in July. Forgot what the website is. See me FedWatch. 39 days from now. We're at 89%. So, again, we're at 4.25, right? We actually are already at 10% on a chance of a rate cut, which is very interesting because last time it was like 95, 99 over here on the right. just staying where we're at and like barely anything on the 400 to 425. So what we want is we want this bar to go lower and we want this bar to go higher. But again, will that happen? I don't know, guys. We'll see. We'll see. So activewear, you know, your smartwatches, your Aura rings, whatever. It's just getting more and more better. So fiber computer allows apparel to run apps and understand the wearer. As technology gets better, right? It could be in your clothes, in your pants, in your belt, in whatever, right? Unlike on-body monitoring systems known as wearables, which are located at a single point like the chest, wrist, fingers, fabrics and apparel have an advantage of being in contact with large areas of the body close to vital organs, your heart, your lungs, whatever. As such, they represent a unique opportunity to measure and understand humans' physiology, whatever, body and health. The fiber computer contains a series of micro devices, including sensors, microcontroller, digital memory, Bluetooth modules, optical communications, and battery, making all the necessary components of the computer in a single elastic fiber. The researchers added the fiber computers to the top and a pair of leggings, with the fibers running along each limb. In the experiments, each independent programmable fiber computer operated a machine learning module that was trained to anonymously recognize the exercises performed by the wearer, resulting in an average accuracy of about 70%. It's still in its infancy. But this type of technology, unfortunately, while I see military use cases for it, could be beneficial for, let's say it's 2065, right? And grandma, she needs her compression socks or whatever. Maybe that sock is measuring data, blood flow to her appendages, the various makeup of her body, heartbeat, beats per minute, whatever. And that data is fed to, her smartphone, your smartphone, and you can see if there's some concerns. Do we need to, does it heat up? Can it heat up by itself without having to get individual sock warmers, hand warmers, whatever? But I just thought it was pretty cool. I like the growth of technology. Again, I had the opportunity, I'm sure many of you had the opportunity to grow up with technology throughout our youth, right? So like as I was growing up, whether it was Atari, NES, Sega Genesis, SNES, N64, Dreamcast, like the technology, I had my first old school like computer that was about this long, this wide, black screen. You had to type in everything, right? MS-DOS or Ubuntu or Linux. And like it's just grown so much. Floppy disk to CD to micro SDs, airstrike size phones to smartphones. Like I've had the opportunity to grow and learn as technology has gone. And what's amazing to me is the youth is even better at it. I mean, I'm seeing 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds with the iPad or the mom's iPhone just going, dude, like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. So it's amazing to see how technology has advanced throughout the years. And I'm honored to have been growing up in this time with you all. The technology is absolutely impressive, and how far we have come is absolutely impressive. Again, I was excited for a 16 megabyte memory card for my PlayStation so I could store more of my Gran Turismo cars on it. 16 megabytes. Look at where we are now. I still have a floppy disk over there. What was that? 1.44 kilobytes, I want to say. Like, it's crazy how far we've come. AMD partnership with Microsoft could be an opportunity for Team Red to stay competitive, right? Even though Nvidia is leading the GPU race, even though they're suffering because of their statements, the way they're dealing with marketing and media, how they're just putting out these shitty products with minimal gain for 2x or 1.2x the amount of money. Nvidia might be losing some market share. Again, they're more focused on AI and data centers now. They kind of just, like, Ethereum left the miners Nvidia is leaving the gamers. Like, cool gamers, we like you. Thank you for your help over the years, but fuck off. This is my new girlfriend. So we'll see how it goes. But AMD's partnership with Microsoft could be huge. You know, we got a lot of SoCs or system integrators that are, you know, building pre-builts, HPs, Dells, whatever. Right, I still see commercials with Intel in there, and even though Intel Ultra Series is not exactly the best, you know, people are still liking the 14900K or the 13 and 14 series. You know, my stepmom, or excuse me, my mother-in-law and father-in-law both have a 11900 and a 10900. It works perfectly fine for their needs. But, you know, all of my systems, including my children, are Ryzen, including the systems that I build for my friends and stuff like that. But, you know, SIs, system integrators, incorporating AMD into their, you know, systems. Or like the Xbox is AMD, right? The PlayStation, I believe, is AMD. You know, this is just giving more market share to AMD, right? Now, while Nvidia is, again, dominant on the GPU side, you know, you could get some pretty good performance, 1440p, 4K, out of a AMD CPU and AMD GPU. So we'll see. But yeah, be safe out there. Your favorite websites may be getting compromised. Be smart. Don't click on anything you don't know. Don't fall for anything. Hang tight. Stack them sats. Accumulate what you can. Manage your expectations. Don't get too crazy. And yeah, I hope that you know, Bitcoin would start to climb up sooner rather than later. If we were to fall right now from where we are, you know, we got some. We're currently on, I think, the 50 EMA on the daily. If we were to fall, we would fall down to this yellow line, which would be about 100K. Then there's the 100 EMA and then the 200. So 100's at like 99.5K. The 200's around 93, 94K. And then to go back to this legacy line over here, that will be 82. And I know some of you called for Bitcoin to fall down to 85K in a recent or last week's video. And while that is certainly possible, I think there's a lot of support that it will be willing to gobble up that Bitcoin. Now that is, again, under 20%. And we've seen Bitcoin pull back and have a 20% or 25% pullback. So that's not out of the realm of impossible. But I just think there's a lot of areas of support where people are going to want to get in. Institutions that, you know, just got funding is going to want to get in, so on and so forth. So I'm going to wrap up with some updates here. Not sure if you guys want to watch this. Again, I don't know if Red Panda is going live. I do have an update. What? Hang on. This is my school. Hang on. Let's see if you guys want to watch this together. Ooh, hang on. Hang on. This is loud. Hang on. Let me turn it down some. So, in case you didn't know, I obviously was an ROTC. Who is this? Who made this video? Oh! I know who made this video. Wow. I was the athletic coordinator. I'm so demonetized, I don't care. Dude, I had some really good times. With the cadets and my classmates. I just saw that pop up on YouTube. I don't even know. I don't know. Is it Bill that made this video? Who made this video? Yeah, Raider ROTC. I just got demonetized by that whole segment. I'm sorry. But, like, I just saw it pop up, and I was like, what the hell? I have to watch it. But, yeah, so I was the athletic director for 2 years. We won some bits. You know, Tulane, Ed White, Who was some heavy hitters? Dude, there were some heavy hitter schools out there that were pretty good. But yeah, you know, good stuff. Where is Red Panda? Because I want to let you guys go, but I don't know if he's live. He might not be live today. Yeah, he might not be live today. Okay, so for my car, guys, I got some stuff coming your way. It's you already got one video this past Friday, but remember the videos are coming out a couple weeks after. So just hang tight. I should be back on the road hopefully this week. But again, I gotta tell you the story of what happened. So I know it's not tech content, I know it's not crypto content, but I know some of you are car guys. So the 40, the 20 people that watch it, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button if you watch it. But I'll get you the updates as soon as possible. Because yeah. My first PC was a green screen and 360K, 5.25. Nice. Nice. All right, you guys head on out. I don't know, like I got nowhere to send you. Red Panda's not live. You guys go have fun, do whatever. I'm gonna get some shit done here in the house. Get ready for, you know, because I gotta pay money to finalize the car. Got all the parts and everything. We're all set there. Should have it done this week. Need to get my second oldest squared away. Papa Serpent is doing better, but unfortunately it's taking longer for his platelets and white blood count to come up. So keep, if you don't believe in God or whatever your religion is, you know, obviously I pray and believe for you guys nothing but the best, but if you keep Papa Serpent in your thoughts and prayers, even if you don't pray, thoughts then, positive vibes, whatever you got, because I want him to come home. He's still near the cancer center in Orlando, and platelets and white blood counts are not where we want them to be. In order for him to come home, he needs to get to that point. And, you know, just overall. And by the way, this car that I'm rebuilding, the TL that I'm rebuilding, I bought from Papa Serpent. So it's got sentimental value. So I'll bring you updates in the future. You guys head on out of here. Thank you so much for stopping by on this weird show. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to make content that I want to make. If people don't like it, then they don't have to watch it. And if you like it, do me a favor. Comment. Like it. Subscribe. All that stuff. Just like you're going to do on the way out, right? Hit that like button. Get subscribed. Hit notification bell to stay up to date. As well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel on what we do here. And you just have yourself a wonderful day. Take care.